I feel like I had been talking about primarying Biden, but then I realized that would be problematic. But I don't know if Kamala Harris is the answer. Before we let Reecie unleash, Drew, what are your thoughts on it?
It depends on which Kamala Harris we get. If we get Kamala Harris that we saw when she was running as a candidate herself, I think that we get a whole different experience with the vice president, right? Like, we want to see America has not seen the Kamala Harris who ran for president as VP. I don't know who decides that, but one, we got the vice president, in Latin America making speeches that I feel like don't get her or the current president reelected. We're not getting a chance to actually see the vice president. They're not leaning into that. She's an incredible communicator, right? Why do we never hear her talk about anything that matters to Americans? She is, when we get a chance to see that personal side of her, when we get a chance to see the independent thinker, the strong voice, the brilliance that is Kamala Harris. Like, I've seen speeches that she gave when she was AG that are more dynamic and more engaging and more amazing than the things that she's been saying as VP. Like, we need to actually see the VP, or this whole thing. Part of what got Biden elected was the fact that he had this incredible, let's just be honest, young enough to take the reins and still have the gravitas to do it, because the man is old, right? Like, that we would have somebody there that was ready to lead when tapped. And then now she's tucked away. Like, on top of all of the things that the administration is failing on for us to actually see the vice president and get a chance to hear what she's doing, she's also dealing with a media that hates Black women, that consistently shows that they hate Black women. Like, there are articles in major news publications about how she redecorated her office to reflect San Francisco, right? Not about the work that she's actually done. The liberties that media and press take with Black women in power, things that would never happen to a white man in those roles. And it's not just in politics and government, it's in the business world. I can give you a whole list of Black women who've had that experience. Is racism is so innovative. Like, there's no innovation and no creativity in how this administration is coming up against the innovative racism that's up against her, the innovative misogyny that's up against her. It's sad, because she's so much better than what we're getting.
Okay. All right.
Okay, that was a lot. Before I get into my rebuttal, I will say, did you watch any of her? She did the first ever maternal day of action at the White House. She spearheaded that. Drew, did you watch any of that?
I didn't watch that. I didn't see it. Didn't know it happened.
Okay.
And I'm on the interwebs and the internets a lot. I watch a lot of cable news, and I didn't know what was happening. I didn't see it.
Yes. Okay. So I do think that there is a media problem that is really damaging Vice President. To your point, there's so much misogyny and racism that is directed to her. I mean, I get the daily news articles because I like to keep, I'm her defender in chief. Okay, y'all know that's what you're getting with me.
Yes.
So I like to keep my ear to the ground because I do oppo research. You can't just support somebody and only read the positive stuff. You have to know what people are saying, to effectively defend her. And it's just relentlessly negative all the time. The op-ed pages are gross, and then that's regurgitated and picked up as though that's its own story. And so she's completely outgunned on the op-ed pages. She's completely outgunned in the media in terms of the trivial and just really nastiness that they have towards her. And so that's a huge negative that she's experiencing. President Biden is experiencing it to a lesser extent. But what I want to caution people against is viewing that as a deficiency on her part. I don't think it's, well, let me not say I don't think it's not a deficiency on her part. What is it? What it is, it's a recognition that Republicans understand, and even some left-leaning Democrats and people who want to launch their own campaigns recognize that historically speaking, the vice president is the heir apparent to the nomination. If Biden had run in 2016, as opposed to waiting 4 years, it would have been a different story. It would have been a battle royale with him and Secretary Clinton. But the reason we're seeing this relentless attack against her is because since 2017, they've recognized her trajectory to the White House. Obama came out of nowhere. He did that great keynote speech in 2012. He didn't have these disinformation campaigns. Social media wasn't the same way back then. It was a more traditional path.
Right. It was, I think it was 2004.
2008. I'm sorry. You're right. Yes.
So and then he won in 2008 and then he won in 2012. But I was at that convention when Kerry was running, and I was like, this man's going to be president. I actually wrote an op-ed saying that. But let me ask you this. She has 11.7 million followers on Twitter. The fat, bloated, bad breath, toadstool penis president that we had used his social media platforms on a regular to bolster all of the things he wanted to get out to the world and galvanize his people. Could she do that, or is she prevented from using her platform to let us know every day, and just tap in as a person? That stuff that Drew's talking about, that personality, that command, all of that can be fomented through TikTok and on her Twitter feed every day. You got 11 million people, and then they will magnify like Reecie and others to get the message out.
And I agree with you. I've said this since 2019. I've been consistent on this, and this is not a criticism. It's a suggestion. I would like to see her do more Black media, and I would like her to do it more consistently. And, you're not going to change the tide in one day. You're not going to win every news cycle. So her team, I don't know if they necessarily don't see that win right away. And so they just kind of switch gay. They feel like, oh, maybe this isn't worth the investment. I'm not trying to put words in, I'm speculating in terms of, there are these starts and stops when it comes to some of the engagement level with different areas. She's constantly engaging with Black organizations. She's had a group of very prominent Black women activist organizations now twice at the White House. She's engaged with organizations throughout the country, but there's a difference between engaging with organizations and being present and visible in the community. So she has a visibility problem, not through lack of activity. She's done over 300 public events, but it's still not visible because it's Bluetooth that's being covered instead of the maternal health day of action that she's done. And so I would always encourage her to be more visible personality wise. I know Kamala Harris as a person. When I've talked to her, we don't talk about politics. We talk on a kiki kind of level. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's called me when I was in the hospital and had my baby. She's checked in with me throughout throughout even being vice president and beforehand. So I know her. I know her as a person. I know her as a human being. I know that she's down for us, like for real. And I have the receipts to prove it. But what she is not yet, which breaks my heart sometimes, is she's not just ingrained in the Black community as one of us the way she should. And that's not a deficiency on her part. It's deliberate because we as a community have been targeted to be expressly against her. The number one way that she's been targeted is not through policy. It's not, oh, well, she wasn't like this on Medicare for all or whatever. It's all about race, her identity. And then on the flip side, you have the misogyny part, trying to, paint her as a bimbo and all that kind of stuff. And so the reason why our community hasn't connected as much with her is because we aren't designed to with the way that we've been targeted. So part of it is we have to recognize, hey, why do I have this like side eye? Why do I have this hostility? Why do I have this ambivalence towards this Black woman who in the past, we all went for Obama, and, now everybody is, now years later, now everybody's all super pro gung ho Obama, but back then that was our guy. Everybody was riding with him,
But there was that, but he also had the bona fides of Michelle, and he didn't go on Charlemagne talking about he smoked weed to Tupac. So there's just like these, to me, missteps on her part to be down. Well, she didn't have to do anything because you're AKA and you went to Howard. That should be enough. to let you know I could have gone to school anywhere. I went to an HBCU, kiss my ass, and I would like to see her do that on Twitter. Did you go to an HBCU? Shut your white mouth. That's it. Let's go. That should be it. That should be
I
it.
would like to see her clap back.
Yes.
I would like to see her clap back a little bit more.
I've said that. I said, be a boss bitch. Lean into it. Like they're gonna drag you one way or another. So like lean into it. You're powerful. You have that power. Own it. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to humble you. They're trying to break you down. And so you can't, you gotta lean into it more.
That nicey that even Obama, in my opinion, that they're not going to respect you. They're not going to stop calling you a hoe. They're not going to stop calling you behind your back, the N-word, monkey, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So you might as well come out the way Reecie comes out. Like match the energy. You don't got to even use expletives, but you can't let people say, oh, Karen, that's beneath you. You can't respond to, I'm going to respond. You say something, you call me out my name. I'm going to block you, but I'm going to let you know before I block you that you are trash. Or I'm going to say it differently because I play with words, but no, you can't let that go unchecked.
I agree.
And we love to see that too. Like her, I'm speaking was like, through the roof, like people were like, yes, like that's what we want. And it wasn't just Black people saying, I wish that I would have had a I'm speaking moment in that meeting from last week or the other one, that piece of it. She did it smooth as glass, right? Like that's what I think that we're missing, seeing her personality now. Yeah. And I think that's where she's not going to get that from media actually writing op-eds about how amazing she is. I mean, the Noonan thing was just teeming with misogyny and racism. But I'm gonna
drag her some more on that.
Yeah, please. But like, I also feel like that we just need to see her. We just need to see her more.
And I agree. I've said that. I did a live on her 2 weeks ago, and I did the whole rebuttal to a bunch of stuff. But at the end, I said, one thing I think would help her is for her to hang out more, just be seen in places, be out, just do you, enjoy yourself, be a moment. You know what I'm saying? Give us fashion, give us things that people can connect to, and then that way there's more of a connection. Yeah, be joyful, be badass. You can do a lot of things. But I mean, I don't say anything, to be clear, as a criticism, because I think even if she does none of those things, she's still a far superior vice president than any vice president we've had, period. She's still the most qualified person, period, because nobody else, you can talk about polling numbers, you can talk about, well, this is a negative op-ed. Nobody else is bringing 100 million votes to the table. Before she even got on the ballot as a vice president, she had 23 million votes from three statewide wins in California, plus being DA. She's made history at every turn. And so nobody has the credentials that she has. Nobody has the electoral history that she has. So even if she does nothing better, then we're there. But she can improve on connecting to people. And then we got a different ball game.